on?
Oh, wait.
Interesting meeting with these knuckleheads over there.
Just transfer.
Oh.
Just transfer.
I'm kidding. I'm joking with you.
Yeah. So you have budget amendments and transfer.
What can we do about that? I don't know.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
I'm supposed to be reaching out there.
These organizations can't even get their stuff together. Right? That's very, they were like, all Jerry questions? To Jerry. So Dave or President.
Yeah, you're supposed to meet with lunch today.
That's right. Yeah, paperwork, so. You said it.
Don't worry, I gotta wait.
Everybody? Call the meeting, January 7th to order. Will all please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilman Dana?
Here.
Councilwoman Schicaldi, present. Attorney Genesi?
Present.
Supervisor Nesbit?
Here.
Councilman Dean?
Here.
Councilman Evans?
Here. First on our agenda this evening is a recognition of Kathy Tanay, Director of Finance, for her years of service to the town of Webster. She is going to be retiring next Friday, so this is the last town board meeting that she will be at. And if she will please come up to the podium with me. For the last 24 years that I have been a town board member, Kathy today has been right by my side as the Webster Town Board's Finance Director. We have worked on 24 town budgets and with and without tax caps, bonded wastewater treatment projects, along with the Parks and Recreation building, and just recently the court and town hall building. In between those, we bonded monies to purchase 1,500 acres of open space, and we joined the healthcare consortium, saving town residents and employees thousands of dollars on town premiums. With the many changes that have taken place in the mandates from New York State over the years, Kathy has always held her head high and gotten the job done in the toughest of times. It has been a pleasure to work with her, and I'm proud to say I will miss her every day at work, but I understand her decision to move on and retire from our weekly arguments about the finances of the town of Webster. So, for myself and the whole Webster Town Board, I would like to read this proclamation for Kathy. For outstanding service presented to Kathy today, whereas the Webster Town Board wishes to recognize the outstanding efforts and contributions of its department heads, and whereas Kathy began her career in public service to the residents of the town of Webster when she worked for the New York State Department of Audit and Control and was assigned to the town of Webster to perform duties. Whereas Kathy was appointed the Director of Finance in August of 1998, and during her tenure she has seen many transformations take place in the town through economic changes, innovation, modernization, changes in regulation, and advances in technology. Whereas Kathy has worked diligently with the town of Webster staff to continue to be fiscally responsible to our residents and to make Webster a place where life is worth living. And we in the town of Webster have been fortunate to have Kathy help us to continue to move forward during trying economic times, to continue to provide services to those in the town in which we serve. Now therefore be resolved that on this date, January 17th, 2019, in recognition of her 20 years of service as a supervisor of the town of Webster and on behalf of the Webster Town Board, I and the town of Webster employees, we extend our sincere thanks to Kathy today for her contributions to our town and wish her all the best the future holds. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ron, thank you, everyone in the town board. 20 years ago, I was sitting at home watching Channel 12, because that's what state auditors do in their spare time. And I saw that the town of Webster had a conscientious, one of the boards that was better at understanding town laws and stuff, and that was my job. So when Paul Adams decided to move to a different job, I applied for the job, and I've been here ever since. I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed all these years, and all the people that work at the town are a fantastic group of dedicated public employees. And also, Ron and I really don't argue every week. But I've enjoyed working with Ron and Kathy Thomas and Barbot and Scott and all the town board and all the new people here. And thank you. And I'll see you around.
Okay, moving on, open to the floor for anyone that would like to speak on any topic. Seeing none, we'll move on to a presentation of end of the year report from the Webster Emergency Medical Services.
You want to move the camera so you can see me better, or can you see from okay?
Underneath, I put it on.
It moved to be a much shorter conversation. That was your plan, huh, sir? So, good evening, everybody. Brandon Nesbitt, town board members. Welcome, Mr. Cahill. Good to see you up there. And if I could, before I started, I'm going to introduce my family who often accompanies me, but I've got two guests that have joined from the Czech Republic, two of my colleagues from my day job. So Patrick and Ulrich have joined to see how American government works in a town that really has its act together. So thanks for a few minutes tonight to talk a little bit about NEQ and Webster EMS. I think we'll do our year-end summary, and I hope it meets your expectations. So for NEQ, 2017, we were one of the first agencies in the area to break 3,000 calls with a 94.2% call coverage. In 2018, we eclipsed 3,000 calls with 3,159 with a 94.8% call coverage. So the call volume went up and our coverage went up. Not normally what you would expect. For WEMS, I'll stop tracking our 2016 data someday, but 2017 we finished with 2,496 calls with a 96.1% call coverage. And in 2018 again, 3,022 calls. Another agency eclipsing 3,000 with a 96.1% call coverage. I'd love to take a lot of credit for that, but quite honestly, all I do is make the requests. But one of the gentlemen sitting in the room deserves some recognition. Jerry Fideli, if you wouldn't mind standing up real quick and take the recognition. Jerry and the operations team are the ones that make these statistics happen, right? For me, it's easy. Jerry, I need an ambulance here. Jerry, get a crew here. Jerry, we want a second rig someplace else. And then I walk away. It's pretty easy. It's like being a town supervisor. But it's Jerry and our operations team that really make this happen. And one of the things that the town board and I experienced as we were going for our CON for WEMS was that they wanted us to show our data against the MILREMS criteria. So I went and found out what it was this month, and I said, let's understand what the MILREMS criteria is and how we stack up against that. So the first thing they talk about is what we call shoot time, which is the time from a call is dispatched to the time we get out the door. We have not been tracking that independently yet, so the next time I give you my report mid-year, I'll find a way to have that. But I can tell you we're typically out in well under a minute for all our ALS and BLS flight cars. The criteria that matters most to citizens is how quickly do you get to me, right? They don't care what we're doing all day long. They want to know when I dial 911 and hang up the phone, how quickly am I getting an ambulance? So in MILREMS, the expectation is that 90% of priority 1 calls get a response within 10 minutes. For any QALS, which as an ALS service we're not really tracked, but we track it, we're 90.4%, so we're above the target. For WEMS, which is a metric we track, 93.4%, so well ahead. For ALS transport vehicle on scene, 90% of the time within 12 minutes for priority 2, so 90% within 12 minutes, we're 95.8% for ALS and 97.1% for BLS. Now it's when you get to the less urgent calls, but for the patient laying there, still quite important. The priority 3 calls, 90% within 17 minutes. We have 98.2% within 15 minutes for the ALS and 99.1% within 15 minutes, less than 15 minutes for the BLS. Can't get too much better than that. For the priority 4 calls, so Supervisor Nesbitt, if you remember some of the other agencies that said they could cover 100% of the calls, right? What do you think about waiting 25 minutes on the floor for help? So we can cover 99.2% within 25 minutes, or 99.5% within that time, or 96.9% in less than 12 minutes, less than half the time expected, or 92% for BLS calls within less than 12 minutes. So I'm not sure what your percentage, or you might think, but I would think that both NEQ and WEMS are meeting the REMAC requirements hands down. So as we look at the next page and we talk about some of our operations updates, and again, this is where it's easy for me to say we put trucks up. Buying the trucks is the easy part, keeping them running is the hard part. Jerry and the staff do a great job of that. So we have all 4 fly cars running. We have 2 on duty between 8 and 9 p.m., 8 a.m. and 9 p.m., and then 1 on the overnight. We have 4 ambulances that are fully staffed. Last year when I talked about this, we had 3. And who knows, next year maybe we'll have 5 if Jerry lets me. One of the things that we did this year that was quite important for our community is we equipped all 4 ambulances with bariatric stretchers. So these are electric lift stretchers, so literally with one button, you can lift a 700-pound patient up. Now you may not think that's a big deal until you're on the end of one of those, right? Lifting up a patient from some of our facilities in the area. That was an unbudgeted expense of $64,000 that we paid without taking on any debt. But it was an important investment, we thought, for not only patient safety, because they tend to get dropped, but also crew safety, because back injuries are one of the biggest injuries we try to fight. We continue to have both bases staffed. Still, I think, one of the only EMS agencies in the county that have 2 EMS bases that allow us, our crews, to not only be dispersed throughout the area, but not having to sit in an ambulance all day long. So it's important for crew comfort as well as retention. We started a training division. So a woman named Sue Dan, one of our EMTs, came and said, you know what, we think we can do more for the community. We started a training division. We are doing CPR classes at least 2 or 3 times a week for not only the citizens in the community, but also doctors' offices, the nursing homes, and other facilities. That is a huge value add, because now they can stay local, and we're getting more citizen responders trained in the chain of survival. One of the things that we take great pride in is that NEQ has 4 RSI paramedics. So for an agency with only about 17 or 18 paramedics, as a proportion, I would dare say it's one of the highest in the community. What is RSI? RSI is what we call rapid sequence induction. Basically what it means is when a person has to be intubated, and if they've clenched their jaw or they're seizing or doing something, I, as a non-RSI paramedic, I can't do anything. I either have to wait for them to relax, usually when they stop breathing, or something else has to happen. But by taking the extra classes and training and a fairly rigorous testing procedure here with the region, 4 of our paramedics can be called to the scene anywhere in the county. And we often get called outside of Webster to help paralyze the patients to facilitate placing a breathing tube. This may not seem like a big deal, but in cases with head injuries or other traumatic injuries where that air is a difference between life and death, but we can't get it to them with a clenched jaw, these paramedics can now travel the area. And just the other night, we had a tragedy here in Webster where our RSI paramedic actually came in off duty to help facilitate, because the closest RSI provider was in Greece. And so even off duty, we're providing the service. We continue to support both with WEMS and NEQ many community events and sporting events in our town. Last year, over 100, and we expect in 2019 to be an equal amount at no charge. So school district events, some of the marathons, turkey trots, if we hear about them, we go. Our new building. So as you've known, last year at this time, we were hoping to have a new facility on Jackson Road that You know, I hate to miss deadlines and goals, but we've let that one pass. We have now found a building that we thought would be better to repurpose on North Avenue, the old Taylor Rental building. So we're in discussions right now with the owner, an offer has been placed, and we're hoping that in the summer of 2019, we'll be calling that as our primary new home. We will then put Jackson Road back on the tax roll, and hopefully we will find a place on the west side of town to continue staffing ambulances on both sides. One of our challenges is a perpetual financial juggling game that we have to play, right? Expenses continue to rise, reimbursements continue to be slow. One of the things that Webster EMS and NEQ are doing is we're changing our billing company because we had to find a way to get more revenue in quicker. Yesterday I got fired by our collections company. They didn't like being bothered about how they were doing their job. But in the end, we provide a service. People are keeping their checks. We need these funds back. And until the New York State government allows the bill to get paid directly to us, we got to get our funds or else we can't continue to operate. Staffing continues to become an increasing expense, especially some other local agencies pay a far greater premium, so we've had to offer more benefits. 3 years ago, we had 2 full-time employees, full-time being vacation and benefits. This month, we have 17. That's a tremendous expense for an organization like ours to pick up without a tremendous income pickup. The CON matter, as the supervisor knows, continues to be pending. It is not on the April agenda at the state, to the best of our knowledge. Our best estimate is maybe September, if not into 2020. For us, it's business as usual. We continue to provide the service we do until someone tells us not to. We are actively working with the Webster Police Department, the Monroe County Sheriff's Office, and other agencies to fight the opioid epidemic. I continue to wonder how we can get in the prevention mode instead of the reaction mode. It's not an easy riddle to solve, but we're trying to make sure that our agencies are part of the discussion. We are working with the Webster School District, West Webster Fire Department, Northeast Joint Fire Department, Webster PD, and Monroe County Sheriff's Office to prepare for multi-agency response. You know, when these things happen, it's the wrong time to be trained and figure out, can we talk and what do we do and how do you expect us all to behave? And EMS, we're in a tough spot, right? We talk to the fire departments, but neither fire or EMS talks to the police department. So we don't get updates, we can't hear what's going on, we don't know when it's safe to come in or not. One of the investments we made last year, if you'll all remember, was we put the police scanners, so at least we could hear their side of the conversation. We can't talk to them, but at least we know when we're clear or if they need us to step it up or other things like that. So that will be a pretty big event that will be held this summer, and I think a good first step to ensuring that we can get response times out appropriately for any large-scale event we have. And so with that, I'll close as I always do, right? First of all, with my thanks. This town board has been incredibly supportive. Councilman Cahill, I expect it. You know, without you guys, we would not do what we do. And frankly, I think I'm quite proud of the service Webster EMS and NEQ provides. But ultimately, you all are our customer. So my final question is, are we doing what you expect, or should we do anything different?
I would say you're surpassing our expectations, and we're proud to provide the service as well.
Thank you.
Fortunate to have a member of our school.
Sorry?
People don't realize what ALS and BLS are, the differences there, but I do, and we're trying to educate the public. You and I, constantly have conversations with our seniors about what the difference is between ALS and BLS. It's still a concern, it's an educated message that we have to give out to the public.
Yep, no, and you're one of our biggest advocates. There can be no argument about that, right? And we appreciate it. I think one of the things we're trying to do is, West Webster Fire Department has been a big supporter of WEMS since it started. And in places where an ALS bill might be billed separately, if ALS goes with a volunteer ambulance, they're turning those calls over to Webster EMS so that they can avoid that secondary bill. Supervisor Nesbitt and I had a great discussion at one of the nursing home facilities. We wrote off 11 bills to some of their patients because of the funds that you support us with. And then we changed the response so that we can help alleviate some of the bills in cooperation with West Webster. And one of the things I have to say, Kathy was joking about the town, watching Channel 12 20 years ago, but I can't think of many communities where the fire, the police, the town government, the village government work as well as we do in this town, right? Because with all that working together, without the fire department supporting the ambulance, and the ambulance supporting the community, and the town supporting all of us, we wouldn't have the model we have today. And these response times show we save lives, right? And after all, that's what it's all about.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Great job.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jerry, for all you do too. You don't get a lot of credit. If I call Jerry for something and I got it within 5 minutes, and, you know, I want to thank Jerry for that too. Okay?
Want a copy? Sure.
Maybe we should take just a minute,
Yeah.
because maybe someone's watching who doesn't know what ALS and BLS is.
Yeah.
So ALS is advanced life support. If you're having trouble breathing, if your heart has stopped, you need advanced life support. BLS is basic life support. If you fell and you think you twisted your ankle, but you still need some emergency help, that's more basic.
Thank you for that clarification. Moving on to regular town business, consideration of approved purchase orders, bills, prepaid warrant transfers, budget amendments as submitted by the Director of Finance. Councilman Abbott did the bills.
I did, I reviewed the bills and found them satisfactory and recommend that we pay them as submitted by the Director of Finance.
Second.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Supervisor Nesbitt?
Aye. I will move that we pay the prepaid warrants as submitted by the Director of Finance.
Second?
Supervisor Nesbitt?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
I will move that we pay the transfers, budget transfers as submitted by the Director of Finance.
Second.
Supervisor Nesbitt?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Also move to approve the budget amendments as submitted by the Director of Finance.
Second.
Supervisor Nesbitt?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Moving on. A resolution to appoint Mr. Paul Adams as the Town of Webster Director of Finance as of January 28th, 2019, to fulfill Kathy Tenay's term, which is ending December 31st, 2019. Now, Paul is not, Mr. Adams is not unfamiliar with the Town of Webster. He was the Finance Director before Kathy Tenay, some 20 years before. So I saw Paul out and about in town, and I knew Kathy was retiring. We had a conversation, and he's back. So we're very happy to have Paul back with his expertise in town government. Come January 28th, after Kathy leaves on Friday, we are not going to miss a step on Monday. So I'm very happy to have that. That is my resolution to appoint Mr. Adams with the term ending December 31st, 2019.
Second?
Supervisor Nesbitt?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Next, we have a couple resolutions to appoint 2 new members to the Webster Special Police Department. But first, I'm going to ask Chief Jarwin to come up to the podium a minute, because special police do not get a lot of recognition in the town of Webster, and they really do a lot in town. You might see them out at the parades, the Fireman's Parade, Memorial Day Parade, but they do a lot when it comes to accidents and other things. The chief is going to give us a little overview of what the Webster Police do. How many members do you have now, Chief?
We have 19 officers that are peace officers here in the town of Webster, certified by New York State. Our numbers have been as high as 26. I did read the Town Times article that was sent in the mail today, and you authored the front page piece about the police department having difficulty retaining and recruiting officers, and that's probably doubly so for our unit. We are a volunteer unit. I've been involved in the town of Webster since 1953. So the training requirements get increased every year by New York State. There's an academy that runs every other year. That begins in February next month. There's 3 other towns that will be sending candidate officers, recruits to the academy. We'll be sending 2, which is the primary reason I'm here this evening, is to see our recruits approved by the town board. We are a department that reports to the town board and serves at the pleasure of the town board, but we operationally report and support the Webster Police Department.
How many hours of training now they have to go? Like 100?
This The state did require 99 hours. Monroe County typically required about 138 hours of training. That's in addition to the training we do in-house throughout the year. And recertifications, there's certain skills we have to be recertified at the academy every year, typically in the defensive tactics. The state has increased this year's training requirement by about 12 more hours. So I think our academy schedule is going to be closer to 150 hours. It'll end in around Memorial Day, the graduation ceremony. And the academy is going to run on Tuesday and Thursday evenings from 6 until 10 p.m. and every other Saturday all day long.
This is volunteer group now, and these people are putting in 150 hours to serve
Almost a
us.
month.
To serve us in the community. I just wanted to make that out because they're giving up a lot to do this. And the Webster Police are not recognized that often, and you see them out there, but you know, we are very grateful for them. And let me tell you, the budget is only $18,000 a year, you know, right now. And they usually don't spend it. Okay, they don't ask for a lot. So we try to accommodate. This year we put a new truck, I think, in the budget. I think the truck is going to be more than their budget for the last 2 years. Any questions for Karen? Okay. And I'm going to let, thanks. Do you have any questions? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you
very much. Thank you, appreciate it. And I'm going to give this to Deputy Supervisor Cataldi because I'm not going to butcher these two names. Go ahead.
Let's see what I can do. I would move to appoint Jonathan Zodarecki as a new member to the Webster's Special Police Unit.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Supervisor Nisbet?
Aye.
I would also move to appoint Giovanni Cambereri as a new member to the Webster's Special Police Unit.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Supervisor Nisbet?
Aye. Thank you, Mike, for sharing.
And welcome to our two new.
Yes, welcome to both. Wish them the best. Okay,
Yes.
thank you. Next, we have a resolution to authorize the supervisor signing a service agreement with Waste Management of New York LLC for services at the town, Webster Town Highway Department. We went out to bid on our refuse services within the town and within the highway. The highway department that they recommend, the new quote is $198.29 a month. This cost represents a significant lowering of monthly charges for our department, in which they were paying $432 a month. So it's a heck of a drop, about $200 a month. They had a quote from another disposal company, Suburban, and they came in at $310 a month. So I am going to move that we take the low quote from Waste Management for $198.29 a month for the next year.
3 years.
3 years. 3 years.
Second.
Supervisor Nisbet?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Next, we have a resolution authorizing the supervisor to sign a service agreement with Waste Management of New York LLC for services at the Webster Town Hall, Webster Police Department, and the Webster Justice Courts. Also, the lowest bid on this was Waste Management. We were paying $680 a month. Our new quote is $280 a month. We're going to say $400 a month over the course. Is it 3 years, Jeff?
Yes.
Year contract, so that's a big savings. So I will move to Waste Management for $280 a month for a 3-year contract.
Second.
Supervisor Nisbet?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Next, we have a resolution to advertise for bids for sludge hauling for the town of Webster Sewer Department. Sludge hauling and disposal. Said bids shall be received at the Webster Town Clerk's Office at the Webster Town Hall, 1000 Ridge Road,
until 10 a.m. prevailing time on Wednesday, February 13th, at which time the public will be open. Detailed specifications regarding the bid items will be available at the town clerk's office at the Webster Town Hall, 1000 Ridge Road, on Wednesday, January 30th, 2019. The Webster Town Board will use Executive Order 170 guidelines to determine the responsibility of bidders and awarding the project. Contract person is Ellen Oates, the plant operator at the sewer treatment plant. Motion.
Second?
Supervisor Nisbet?
Aye.
Councilman Capaldi? Aye. Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
So we have a resolution to schedule a public hearing to consider a new local law permitting the appointment of alternate members to the Town of Webster Planning Board and Town of Webster Zoning Board of Appeals. The reason why we're doing this is on some occasions, mostly with the zoning board, not the planning board, where there are only 5 members. Personal confrontations, some kind come up with school concerts, other things, and they don't have 5 members. So what we're going to do here is we're going to pass a town law that allows us to add an alternate to these boards. So in case there is an absence, then we will have a full board, and the applicant that night will be able to be heard. Okay? A lot of time they come in and we've had 3 board members or 4 board members. The applicant has a legal right to have a full board. If we don't have a full board, then they table, and then it backs up our schedules as we go on. So this way here, we'll be able to have an alternate, be able to call them in advance, and the board will be full. So what we're doing here is a resolution to schedule a public hearing to consider the new local law. As soon as Barbara gives me the dates, I'll know it there.
We will advertise this on January 23rd, and we can hold the public hearing on February 7th.
A motion.
Second.
Thank you.
Supervisor Nisbet?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Capaldi? Aye. Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Next, we have a resolution to approve an industrial use permit for Daniel Cooper signage business located at 590 Salt Road in C18. Are the owners of the property here too? Can you come up first?
Good evening, Board. I'm Dan Cooper, and yes, I did apply for an industrial uses permit at 590 South Road.
Dan, can you step back a minute? We just want to talk to the 2 owners there for a minute, then we get to your application. Gentlemen, can you tell me who you are, please?
Richard DeMarco. Bill Mesmer.
What's that?
Bill Mesmer.
Mr. DeMarco, the town board has been out to the place and we requested that it be cleaned up a little bit. I have heard that you have done that. Is that correct?
Yes.
Because we continue to get these applications for 590 South Road, and I understand them. And I think an industrial park is very good. But the town board, Mr. Dean's been down, Mrs. Capaldi's been down, and we found that this was kind of, I don't know how I say it, wasn't up to our standards, let's say that, okay? I just wanted to let you know that we have to continue to maintain that, okay? You will do that?
Yes.
You promise?
Yes.
Mr. Dean?
Yes.
You okay?
We heard it here.
Okay, because I don't want to cite anybody or do anything like that. I just want to bring you in, let you know that we like the concept of what you're doing, but you got to keep it cleaned up. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And can you explain what your business is, sir?
It's a signage business, wholesale signage business.
Okay. You're going to be inside that one building there?
Yes, C18?
Okay. Anything outside? No trucks?
No.
Everything inside?
Yep.
Do you fabricate there, or what do you do?
Yes, some slight fabrication, yes.
Anything from the board members? Anybody? No.
No, I think it is a great concept.
Yes, it is.
And it's a wonderful home to many small businesses that we're happy to have in Webster. We just have to make sure that it looks neat and clean and.
Organized.
meets our standards.
Organized.
Yeah.
Organized is the word. All right, I'll move to add an industrial use permit. Tax account number 066.001-2-8 at 590 Salt Road. Whereas 590 Salt Road LLC, Richard DeMarco owns the property. Daniel Cooper proposes to use the space at C18, 590 Salt Road. Business including the creation of sale and wholesale custom signage. Whereas the lands are in industrial. Pursuant to Town Code Section 225-20A, the proposed use is permitted in the industrial zone. Concept plan and application have been received by the town board, whereas environmental assessment form has been received and reviewed by the town board, and the town board had designated this action as a type 2. That the applicant be granted an additional industrial use permit for the purpose of leasing the signage business at 590 Salt Road, space C18.
Second.
Supervisor Nesbit?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Holly?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Jennifer. Next we have, and this has been going on a long time, a resolution to amend the resolution in final order establishing the Clem Road Water District Extension 4, changing the name to Clem Road Water District Extension 6. Mr. Attorney.
Yes. Basically, there was a problem with the filing of this prior resolution. Everything was fine, and all the signatures were approved. All the bonding was approved. However, the designation as extension number 4 was not accepted by the county. Therefore, we had to remove and amend the prior resolutions. And so basically, we're going through all the entire process with the exception of getting new signatures and getting moved over the petitioners. That is the people who own the properties which in the district. So this has been, bond council advised us of this, the assessors advised us of this, the counties advised us of it, so we're doing it to comply with what they've requested, and basically the only change is going to be that this will go from district extension number 4 to district extension 6.
Okay, I will move. Adopting the final order for the establishment of Clem Road Water District Extension number 4 in the town of Webster, so as to redesignate such water district extension as Clem Road Water District Extension number 6.
Second. You ready for a second?
No, I'm going to go
Okay.
in a second. I want to get some of these dates in there. Whereas by resolution adopted July 19th, the town board scheduled a public hearing to be held on August 16, 2018. Whereas in said public hearing was duly published in the town's official newspaper on August 1st, 2018. Said public hearing was in fact conducted by the town board on August 16, 2018. As a result of the public hearing, the town board moved to establish and form the water district designated as Clem Road Water District Extension 4. By resolution adopted September 27, 2018, the town board determined that the requirements of town law section 201E1 were met. In addition, the proposed action consisting of the establishment of the proposed water district extension and the construction of the improvements to be included constituted type 2 under the State Environmental Quality Review Act. Whereas the period of time for a permissive referendum having elapsed, the town of Webster Town Board is regular meeting November 1st, 2018, did pass resolution number 283, adopting final order of the establishment of the water district designated as Clem Road Extension number 4. Now therefore be resolved that the water district extension approved by the Webster Town Board on August 16, 2018, September 27, 2018, and the final order of November 1st, 2018 be and hereby is redesignated as Clem Road Water District Extension number 6.
I'll second.
Thank you. Thank you.
Supervisor Nesbit?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Okay, so now that we've done that, we gotta go back and
Right, done the bond resolution.
amend the bond resolution. So a resolution to amend the resolution of the final order establishing Clem Road Water District Extension number 4, bond resolution changing the name to Clem Road Water District Extension number 6. Whereas the town board of the town of Webster, Monmouth County, by resolution dated November 1st, 2018, adopted in accordance with Article 12. Whereas the town board of the town of Webster, by a bond resolution dated November 1st, 2018, authorized, among other things, the issuance of $750,000 in serial bonds of the town to finance the estimated cost of acquiring, constructing, and equipping the improvements to be included in the water district. Whereas the town board of the town now intends to amend the original bond resolution for the purpose of correcting the designation of said extension. Now therefore be resolved by the town board of the town of Webster, Monmouth County, as follows. The first, whereas by resolution of the town board of the town of Webster, Monmouth County, dated November 1st, 2018, adopted immediately prior to the consideration of said resolution, said town board adopted its final order establishing the Clem Road Water District number 6 in the town of Webster in accordance with Article 12A of the town law.
Sort of no pro time.
Well, you go with that. You go with that. Second. Thanks.
Supervisor Nesbit?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Just a little good news on that. We had opened the bids today, and we, like we said, we went out the bond for $750,000. The lowest bid came in at $549, am I correct?
594,207.
$594,207, so it came in way under budget, which will make the residents' payments a lot lower than what they were, so this is real good. So we'll be taking a bond resolution at the next time. Okay. Resolution to appoint Tim McMahon to the Parks and Rec Open Space and Athletic Review Board for a term of 3 years, ending December 31st, 2021.
Second.
Supervisor Nesbit?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Excuse me. Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
We'll conclude tonight's meeting. We can take a call in at 585-872-7011, 872-7011. Anybody has any questions on town government? Or we can ask Joe about the snow that's coming. He's here. What do you know?
Not any more than the meteorologists do.
You're ready.
Ready?
Yeah, we're as ready as we can be. We posted stuff on social media today,
Yep.
just as far as expectations, how things hit most homes, or a lot of homes today, and if they're not hitting today or hitting tomorrow, just in time for the storm, as far as to help, as a community, help everybody out. Some of the tips and do's and don'ts of a storm like this in the winter. But, you know, we don't really know yet. We're tracking here. The latest was 7-11 through to Sunday, and the other one says 18 to 24 through Sunday midday, and then an additional possible foot by Monday for lake effect. So I'll let you know Monday afternoon what the total would work.
Remind all local driveway plowers to keep it on the property and not across the roads.
And actually, I saw another post on social media, I think yesterday, and the importance of keeping kids away from the road when the plows are coming.
Don't build forts
Don't
next to the
play in the
road.
snowbanks.
Or in the cul-de-sac.
Yeah, don't build forts near the roads.
Yeah, I've heard your good one on that one, Gary. It's terrifying.
Taxes?
Taxes, they're coming in, not as fast as last year. Sorry about that, because government didn't get everyone excited about paying at the time, so
Okay.
they're just slowly coming in. And so if anybody wants to pay their bill on the weekend, you can always drop your check in our box. We have a drop box in the front of the building that's open 24 hours a day. And if you forget your envelope, there are envelopes out there. And please make sure you try to remember to put your phone number on your check. Sometimes people write their checks incorrectly, and it's very difficult to reach people nowadays. The cellular world is very difficult as far as getting in touch with people. So we always do ask that you have your number on your check.
January 23rd is coming Wednesday in this room here. The Sandbar Committee will be presenting their findings so far on what they've come up with on developing Sandbar Park. It starts at 6 o'clock in the boardroom here, goes till 8 o'clock. They have stations so you can go around and talk to the different people at Bear Associates and what they have come up with as far as the plan. And so that's this coming Wednesday, 23rd, 6 o'clock in this boardroom. Also on February 4th, we close, RTS will be in this boardroom. I think you've heard that RTS is changing the bus routes to Webster, and they will have an informational meeting at 6 o'clock on February 4th in the boardroom here to explain to Webster residents and others that they're going to have a main hub now at Baytown Plaza, and then from there out, they're not going to bring the big buses out here anymore because the big buses aren't carrying full. They got 4, 6, 10 people on it. They're going to use the little buses that hold 10 to 12 people and run from Baytown Plaza through the town of Webster. So they're going to be here on February 4th to explain what their future plans are in this board. Kathy, one last. You know, you wanna mix it up a little bit before you go? Or what?
Everything's fine, everything's going okay.
Okay. Paul, congratulations, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back.
Okay, thank you.
Can I make just one comment on
Yes.
what you are doing? Good luck on your ability to find good police officers that you're looking for.
We're trying hard.
They are really trying hard.
Really trying.
It's like one of their main focuses right now.
Quite a job to hold.
See his signature?
Is this Jonathan or Giovanni?
Oh, no.
Does he need a signature?
Does he need a signature?
Oh, no.
No? Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for being here.